At 16 years old, Emma had everything a teenage girl could want on the surface. A group of friends she adored, a growing collection of stylish clothes, and the kind of long, flowing blonde curls that people often stopped to compliment. Her hair was her pride and joy, cascading in soft golden spirals down to her mid-back. Every morning, Emma stood in front of the bathroom mirror for nearly an hour, taming every curl, perfecting her part, and applying just the right amount of product to give it bounce and shine. Her parents had long grown weary of her early morning rituals, but Emma insisted that her hair was part of who she was. She needed to look perfect for school. At school, Emma was popular among her circle. She and her friends spent their breaks chatting, scrolling through social media, and fussing over their appearance. The school bathrooms were unofficially their beauty stations, where they'd slip away during lessons to fix their hair or reapply lip gloss. Teachers had noticed. More importantly, the school administration had taken note of Emma's declining grades. Her assignments were late or incomplete, and her test scores were slipping. It wasn't that Emma wasn't smart. She was. But her priorities had shifted. It came to a head during a parent-teacher conference when the school counselor laid everything out. "Emma is a bright student," she said, folding her hands on the desk. "But her obsession with appearance is becoming a serious distraction. She's missing class time, she's not submitting work, and we've had multiple reports of her, and several other girls, spending extended time in the bathroom during lessons." Emma's parents listened, growing more concerned as the counselor continued. "It's affecting her education. We've started recommending a stricter approach with some families, removing the distraction entirely. We've advised parents to consider a drastic haircut. Something short, something manageable." Emma's mother was taken aback. "You're suggesting we cut her hair?" "Yes, it's not just Emma. Other parents are hearing the same advice. We need to refocus the girls' attention on what matters." At home that evening, Emma was stunned when her parents brought it up. "No way!" she shouted, backing away. "You can't make me cut my hair." Her father sighed. "Emma, your grades are tanking. This isn't a punishment, it's a reset." "It's my hair," she cried, storming up the stairs. But the decision had already been made. That Saturday morning, they drove her to a small salon across town. Her heart pounded the entire way. She sat rigid in the chair, refusing to look at herself in the mirror. The stylist, following instructions, sectioned her hair off and began to cut. Long golden curls fell to the floor in heavy locks. Within minutes, her shoulders were bare. The stylist shaped the remaining hair into a short, uneven pixie cut. Emma looked up. It was horrible. The cut did nothing for her features. It was choppy and awkward, emphasizing the roundness of her cheeks and the curve of her ears. Her curls no longer had weight to fall beautifully. Instead, they puffed and twisted in every direction. She stared at her reflection in horror. She cried, but her mother leaned in gently and whispered, "Sweetheart, if you're going to feel this bad about it, maybe it's better to just start fresh." The stylist, overhearing, hesitated. "Would you like to shave it? It'll grow back evenly." Emma sniffled, then slowly nodded. "Yes, just do it." The stylist exchanged the scissors for a pair of clippers, fitted with no guard. She fastened the cape snugly again and smoothed Emma's shoulders. Emma's breathing was shallow as the clippers clicked on with a low buzz. They touched her forehead, and with the first push backward, tufts of what was left of her curls tumbled onto her lap. The stylist moved quickly and carefully, clearing away all the remaining uneven tufts. The soft purring of the clippers continued over the sides, then around the back, the little hairs falling onto her shoulders and the cape in pale golden sprinkles. Emma watched wide-eyed as her scalp began to show clearly, soft, pale, and smooth. With every pass, she looked more and more unfamiliar. But in that unfamiliarity, there was a strange sense of release. When the stylist finished with the clippers, she reached for a foil shaver. "This will make it completely smooth," she explained. Emma gave a small nod. The buzzing was quieter this time, almost soothing. The foil glided over her scalp, vibrating gently as it polished her skin. The stylist moved in slow, deliberate strokes, making sure no patch was missed. When she was done, she wiped down Emma's head with a warm towel and unfastened the cape. Emma stood and stared into the mirror. She was bald. Truly, entirely bald. Her scalp was smooth and even. Her eyes seemed brighter, her expression more open. There was no hair left to hide behind. She reached up hesitantly and ran her fingertips over the sleek skin. The sensation was strange, foreign, but empowering. She swallowed, then smiled. "Thank you," she said softly. When she returned home, her parents were stunned, but they saw something new in her: confidence, peace. Her mother gave her a long hug, and even her father, usually reserved, admitted, "You look brave." Over the weekend, Emma felt nervous about the coming Monday. Would people stare? Would they laugh? But those thoughts began to fade. She felt light, unburdened. No more hours in front of the mirror. No more hiding behind her hair. She studied. She read. She even went for a walk without wearing a hood. On Monday, she walked into school, her scalp gleaming under the lights. The whispers were louder this time, but they didn't sting. She wasn't alone. More girls had followed suit. Shaven heads popped up in every hallway. At first, it was shock. Then, admiration. It started with just 2 others, Samantha and Lily. Then a few more by Wednesday. By Friday, a dozen girls walked the halls with bald heads, some laughing, others proud. The school atmosphere shifted. Teachers were shocked at first, but the change in behavior couldn't be ignored. The group of girls who had once been distracted, unfocused, and always late were suddenly attentive. Homework was turned in on time. Participation increased. Grades began to climb. Emma's grades improved steadily. She focused. She participated. She began to help others. Her bald head became a symbol of determination and focus. Students she barely spoke to began to greet her. One teacher even asked her to speak about her experience in front of a class. What began as humiliation had transformed into empowerment. Emma didn't just accept her new appearance, she embraced it. She began wearing bolder earrings, simpler outfits, and held her head high. Her identity wasn't in her hair anymore. It was in her choices. She had let go of what didn't matter and discovered what truly did.